Hey, what's up guys? So we're here to go over Challenge Rift 154 this week for North America, and that is going to be a Crusader. This is going to be a Shield Bash build. So here's what we're working with. We've got the Roland's Legacy, so it's going to increase the damage of Shield Bash and then also give us a form of damage reduction with Shield Bash. It also has the ability on the 2-piece bonus to make it so Shield Bash and Sweep Attack reduces the cooldowns of your laws and defensive skills by 1 second. We're going to be primarily using Laws of Valor 100% of the time, and that is because we're going to be able to reduce the wrath cost of all skills by 50%, because all we do for damage is Shield Bash. Everything else pretty much is going to be irrelevant for damage, but there's a lot of just subpar optimization on pieces of gear, but when your Shield Bash hits 3 or fewer enemies, its damage is increased and 25% of its wrath is refunded, so more multiplier with that. It does have the focus and restraint over here, so that will also be increasing our damage by quite a bit. And then we have Measurements, so that's going to go ahead and reduce our cooldown whenever we kill an enemy by 1 second by a random skill. And then we've got the Accurate Awakening, so every successful block has 25% chance to reduce all cooldowns by 1 second, so that's actually quite great. Accurate Champion gains the effects of Prophet and Embodiment of Power Runes. We've got the Royal Ring of Ranger and Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac. So there's a lot of cooldown reduction over here, which will allow us to keep up Accurate Champion 100% of the time, because this build is very squishy, and to actually top of the leaderboards, you basically need to die 0 times. As far as Shield Glare goes, there are certain times where I will mention that you will want to activate Shield Glare, but for the most part, ignore it on regular mobs. Just use these on elites. The reason why is you want your Measurements to be able to proc the extra cooldown of Laws of Valor as well as Accurate Champion, because how it works, it reduces the remaining cooldown by 1 second of a random skill, and whatever skill needs to be recharged will basically be proc. So basically, if you don't use this skill, it's going to go towards either the Laws of Valor or the Accurate Champion over here. And so that's why you want to go ahead and use it for that. But for the most part, just use it on elite packs. And then with Punish, you want to upkeep. You'll see a little bar above it. It will increase our block chance. And when we block, we might be able to get extra damage reduction. And also, on top of that, getting that extra cooldown will be nice. So just make sure this is proc. You don't really need to focus in on using this to generate resource, because you don't need to attack consistently with Shield Bash. You kind of move, which you'll see in the gameplay, with Shield Bash, because that's our form of mobility as well. So Shield Bash is going to be dealing all of our damage, which is quite nice. And then Laws of Valor, try to upkeep this as much as you can. And then for Iron Skin, you want to activate this when there is an elite pack where you feel like you might not be able to win the battle. Same thing with the Shield Glare. The reason why I try not to activate these is because I won't be able to upkeep my Laws of Valor, which affects our DPS and our clear time. But for the most part, it is a relatively easy rift to clear, but it's very difficult to clear without dying. And that's the main problem with this build, is the survivability. So pretty much, like I mentioned before, make sure that you'll see this little green bar above this. That will basically keep your focus and restraint up at the exact same moment that goes down. So upkeep this, and then just use Shield Bash for the most of your damage. And then keep up Laws of Valor, and then keep up Accurate Champion. But let's go ahead and hop in right now and show you guys how to clear it. So starting out, you want to go ahead and build those stacks so you can go a little bit faster with the attack, as well as get that damage mitigation before you go ahead and fight the first elite pack, which is just right up over here. And once again, just make sure you go ahead and have your main generator procced over here. The build is very squishy, so like I mentioned before, don't worry if you happen to die on any of these challenges, unless of course you're going for the best time. There is a shield pylon that you can go ahead and grab. I recommend most of you guys to take it. You can definitely complete it without it, but I went ahead and actually took it. And don't worry about clearing up all the trash. What I'm trying to use is Shield Bash for that mobility to go ahead and fight those elite packs. Unfortunately, there's a waller over here, but we got kind of lucky and it didn't really wall us off to the point where we weren't doing a bunch of damage. But nonetheless, the build is okay with the amount of cooldown reductions. It's just that you have to be able to not get scared and pop Iron Skin. You have to let Accurate Champion do its thing where it has that cheat death effect. But we'll come to the next elite over here, and you just want to go ahead and eliminate him as quickly as possible, and then just kind of continue downward. Don't go too far to the left or right of this area. There's a lot of dead ends over here, so you pretty much just go on the main path over here, and are going to work your way down towards the next floor. But anyways, as far as the build goes, I would say the thing that most people will lose out to is when there is a huge density, then use your iron skin. If you use it too often, you're going to lose out on a lot of time, as well as you will lose out on resource because your law won't be active. But I also wanted to mention really quick that I just uploaded my seasonal 21 guide as far as giving feedback and what should be changed, and if you guys do want to check that out, I'll have that pinned down below. I know I uploaded it super late last night, and so you guys might not have actually caught it, but going into season 21, there's arguably like one of the worst seasonal buffs at the moment. I'm hoping that they can readjust it to make it more desirable to actually play this season. I mean, there are new sets, but you can get those regardless anyways. But up in this fight over here, where you're seeing on floor number 3, one thing that is very important is this is one of those fights where I will recommend you guys to go ahead and pop your iron skin as well as shield glare if you need it, because for whatever reason over here on the 3rd floor and like the first like 2 elite encounters, you'll definitely want to go ahead and pop it, otherwise you will rip very fast, especially since this guy's got like lightning, and again the build is very squishy. So you're just basically going to hug the left side of the wall once you go ahead and kill the first elite, then move pretty much straight downward for a little bit, and then you're going to go take another left. If you go in pretty much any of the other paths, it's going to be a dead end slash there's very, very little density, so we're just going to go ahead and go onto floor number 4. If you do want to clean up things, you can basically finish it on level 3, but I think overall for saving time, it's just much better to go ahead and fight the elites just like it is on majority of the greater rifts. But there's a lot of decent trash over here. The reason why I say it's decent, it doesn't give you the most progress on your progress bar due to the monster type, but the reason why is because every time you're eliminating an enemy, you'll be able to reset your cooldowns, and then you can go ahead and spam things. One thing to note is if you don't actually get into a fight fast enough, what's going to happen is you won't be getting those roll-in stacks, therefore you're going to be taking more damage, and on top of that your attack speed and your multiplier is just not going to be as great. So pretty much, yeah, just make sure you upkeep the punish over. You can see the little bar right above the W key, and it's basically what you want to go ahead and try to upkeep when you're fighting the elites. If you're not fighting elites, you can kind of just use the shield bash as mobility, and that will help out quite a bit. You can see it got quite low over there, but just popping that potion really fast, and Accurate Champion will also save you. This is one of the more difficult challenge rifts, I would say, in the last few weeks. This has definitely been the most difficult. Again, when I try to do these, I try to get, you know, somewhere in the top like 100. But this one was actually quite easy to place if you just don't die, because again, that is the main problem with this build. But coming up pretty much to the end of the elite, you can see I tried to blind him over there, but you'll be able to limit him quite fast because of your bracers. You get that extra damage on top of that. You'll get that damage reduction. Quality time over there, and that is how you complete this week's challenge rift for the Crusader. So I hope this video guide helped you guys out, just in case you were stuck on it. I know this one, like I mentioned before, is quite challenging, but if you enjoyed the video, drop a like on it, and if you're new to the channel here, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out when we drop new Diablo content, and make sure that little bell notification is rung, because, well, YouTube just doesn't notify you if you don't. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one, and if you haven't seen the videos on Season 21, check them out. They'll be pinned down below. Take it easy. Peace.